Hello, my name is Dr. Phillips. I'm here today to talk to you about the internal assessment for the IB and how to get the best mark possible. The internal assessment is divided into three parts. The first part is the identification and evaluation of sources. The second part is the investigation itself. And the third part is the reflection. Let's start then with section A, the identification and evaluation of sources, which is worth 6 marks. To get a very good mark, you need to be clear. Clarity is important throughout the internal assessment. You should clearly state the question, not just on a cover page, but in that section A. For example, to what extent did the Night of the Long Knives consolidate Hitler's rule over Germany? You need also a good explanation of the relevance of the sources that you use in that section. Normally you would analyze and evaluate 2 sources, and you need to do for both of them. Coming on to that analysis and evaluation of the 2 sources, you have to be clear on what the difference is between analysis and evaluation. First of all, you need to analyze by breaking down the sections of the source, and in doing so also mention about its value of it, the origins, the purpose, and the content of that. And also evaluation. The evaluation is, in other words, what the value the sources have for your investigation, and that has to be stated clearly too. The second section, section B, is the investigation. This is the one which gives you the most marks, 15 marks. Again, clarity is very important, and it needs to be effectively organized in order to get top marks. There needs to be a well-developed critical analysis, and it must stay focused on the question. There is a temptation to start talking about lots of information, but unfortunately, unless you make it clear what that information is, how it's relevant, then it won't get you any extra marks. You should use also a range of sources, and it has to show in the investigation, so there should be both footnotes, which show whenever you quote, you have a footnote saying where you got it from. And also there needs to be a good bibliography at the end of the investigation. You should also, to help you stay focused, make sure you start every paragraph relating back to the question, so that that's clear. That helps you avoid having a narrative and just recounting the events of what happened. It's very tempting to do so, especially when if you're enthusiastic about the subject, but if it doesn't stay relevant, then it won't help you very much. Now then, most students can do the things I've mentioned very well up to now, but that will only get you just over half marks. What will take you into the upper bands is the evaluation of different perspectives. What do I mean by that? Well, it doesn't mean you just mention so-and-so says this, but someone else says that. You actually have to go a bit further than that and say whether their point of view is valid or not, and and you need to give your reasons for it. And again, you can use the same sort of techniques that you used in section A. It's very important to do that. So you will mention things such as when the person was writing, what they were writing the source for, exactly as you did for section A, so that you can show that you understand the limitations as well as the value of those sources. That is the thing which will get you into the 13 to 15 mark. Plus, of course, you need a conclusion within section B. And that conclusion must be consistent with your argument throughout that section. So if you start saying the opposite thing, they'll say the examiner will say there's a contradiction here between what you're summarizing and what you've said in the rest of the essay. So you have to stay clearly focused and keep up the argument as you had presented it in the rest of section B. The final part is a reflection. This will get you 4 marks if you can get the full number of marks. What's important here is that you, again, clarity. You need to be clearly focused on the methods used by the historian. What your investigation taught you about the methods used by the historian. Then you need to mention about the challenges that historians face, and or the limitations of the methods used. Now, you can get away with just mentioning one, either the challenges or the limitations of the methods. But if you can mention both, then that is even better. It will get you a higher grade. And again, upon all of these, you need to talk about the connection between to make it relevant to what you've been saying in section B, that it is through your investigation that you've discovered these things. You should give specific examples here as well. It's not enough to just say that you were aware of the challenges and just mention something like, oh, it's difficult to find primary sources, or there's a problem deciding whether the historian is biased or not, or prejudiced in some respect. This doesn't help you because all sources, whether they're primary or secondary, have a subjective viewpoint, one way or another, whether they're aware of it or not. So it's quite all right to accept that a source is subjective. It can still be useful and it can still be valid. So you need to give a more specific example of how what limitation of a source was. For example, if a source about the Second World War was written in 1946, One clear limitation would be that the range of sources available to that historian would not be as large as they are now, for example, when the records are open. Many records are kept closed for 50 or sometimes even 100 years. So you need to have an awareness of how record officers limit access. Well, that's all I can say for now. If you would like further information, you're welcome to contact me on my website, historymentor.co.uk. And you can also send me a message through the History Mentor Facebook page, and I will reply to you as soon as possible. Also, you can subscribe to this YouTube page for updates on further videos. The next video will be about the extended essay. You don't have to do an extended essay in history, but if you do, then I will be giving some advice on that. Okay, thank you.